He was the guy that every woman wanted to be with and every man wanted to be like.
It's been 5 years since the Fast and the Furious actor passed, and his memory will continue to live on. He left the world with a legacy of his down-to-earth nature amongst other celebrated qualities. However, the biggest thing fans can't seem to forget is the type of relationships the late star had. Back in the early 2000s, Walker was rumored to have been with famous adult star Anais Alexander. After this short-lived fling came to end, he dated Playboy model Amanda Page, who also starred in Playboy Video Playmate Calendar in 2007. However, these are not the relationships that left many uncomfortable. Walker was free to date whoever he wanted, unless, of course, that relationship broke the law, and his track record of past love interests seemed to do just that. Before we dive in, please take a second to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button to stay updated with more of your favorite celebrity news. Walker's recent girlfriend before he passed was just a few years apart from the actor's daughter. Imagine being a 23-year-old mother to a 15-year-old. You would have had to have had a child at 8 years old, which makes it a little hard for anyone that age to be responsible for anyone else. Well, that was the type of reality Walker's girlfriend, Jasmine Gosnell, was faced with. She had only met the late actor when she was just 16 years old, and he was in his mid-30s. It was even more shocking when people found out that the couple had just moved in together just before the actor passed. When Walker's documentary was set to hit the screens, many were hoping to see an all-rounder look at the actor's life. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Instead, what they received was a polished version of Walker that many said aimed to immortalize him rather than tell the truth. None of Walker's relationships were brought up in the film. None of his love interests make an appearance, and there can only be so many reasons for that. But the one that makes sense is that most of his serious relationships were inappropriate, if not illegal. One would think that a film documenting the life of the actor would include his romantic interests and not just the type of cars he loved. The 17-year age difference between Walker and Jasmine was not something new in Hollywood. Many stars have a mountain of age gaps between them, but what makes their relationships acceptable? It's consensual. When two fully grown adults decide that they are in love, age doesn't matter because they are both legally old enough to make that kind of decision. However, the same cannot be said for Walker's former lady. Although Jasmine made a choice to be in a relationship with the late actor when they first met, she had not reached the legally mature age to do so. Jasmine was only a teen when they met, and the legal age of consent in California is 18. So, in simple words, the actor was dating a minor when they first got together. Paul Walker is famous for his Fast and Furious movies and his celebrated bromance with co-star Vin Diezel. However, his personal life seems to be something people turn a blind eye to. Co-stars that the actor had worked with had nothing but great things to say when they spoke of their colleague. He was considered to be a down-to-earth guy who would be more than happy to stop on the street and chat about cars with a stranger. There's even a video of the star freaking out over a car, as any car enthusiast would. These small qualities of humility made it easy for people to connect to the actor, making it impossible to see any flaws.
The dream is to have it all. Who says you can't have your cake and eat it too?
No, who's
live this life, that life, this life, you know?
So, like,
you only live one time. I want to get it all in.
Before the actor was with Jasmine, he dated another girl, Aubrianna Artwell. The couple was on and off for several years until they finally broke things off and remained friends. Although Aubrianna was older by the time they went their separate ways, they had known each other for years. Which leaves the question, how old was she when they first met? Just like his last girlfriend, Aubrianna was reportedly only 16 when she and Walker began a romantic relationship. We just became friends and ended up in a relationship. We have been in each other's lives ever since. We talked every week, at least. We talked a lot about his daughter, who was everything to him. Although it cannot be proved that Walker had any sexual relationships with the young girls, it still raises a few eyebrows amongst worried fans. Many had accused the actor of grooming the underage girls until he was able to be intimate with them. Before his untimely passing, the actor even shared that he was willing to wait until Jasmine was ready for them to pursue their relationship even further. There's no doubt he was planning on marrying her when she was ready. He knew she was young and had her own things she wanted to achieve, but he always said she was worth the wait, a source told reporters. Walker's relationships were often given a pass in Hollywood media, and automotive media too. They either were not addressed at all or sold to be unexpected romances, as Walker called Jasmine the love of his life. But since the actor's death, many more outlets have come forward to question the acceptability of his romances, from titling it as a, quote, disturbing pattern, to expressing their shock and disgust and acknowledging that he could have, quote, been hit with a felony charge. Walker's history with women did not only become questionable when he was older. Since a 25-year-old Paul got his girlfriend pregnant, he hadn't had a good reputation with the ladies. Though he had become insanely close with his daughter, Meadow, before he passed, the actor was not ready to take that responsibility on when his then-girlfriend fell pregnant.
Your daughter must think you're like the coolest dad in the whole wide world.
She thinks I'm a dork.
Walker admitted to feeling guilty for letting his daughter grow up in Hawaii without him for over 12 years. However, although he grew up in a Christian school that emphasized the importance of a mother and father staying together, he just wasn't that kind of guy. I knew where I was at with chicks and having fun. I mean, I was sleeping with her friends for crying out loud, you know what I mean? I was an animal. But after years passed, the actor's guilt grew stronger. He didn't have an emotional connection with his daughter, but he said he was comforted by the fact that he could provide for her financially. But everyone knows that money and materials cannot fill the void of love. So Walker finally reunited with his daughter back in 2011, sharing that the bond between them was immediate and she's, quote, the best partner I've ever had. Sadly for the actor, they only had a handful of years together before he passed. They were only able to bond for such a short time, but she clearly meant the world to Walker. The actor left his entire $25 million fortune to her, and not a single cent for her mother.
There are moments when I'll see her playing with Pauline, and it will hit me so deep, because I can only imagine what my brother is seeing when he sees that.
Walker's Fast and Furious co-star and close friend, Michelle, also knew how much his daughter meant to the late star, telling reporters that whatever she wants, she's got it. The actress also shared Vin Diesel's touching words to Walker's daughter. Hey, we're here for you, just remember that. There's a deep connection there, and if you ever want to pull that card, you got it. Though many find it hard to address the actor's knack for concerning relationships, Walker knew he had a skill to make people look past his wrongs. In an interview, Walker admitted to using his good looks as a way of getting out of trouble when he was younger. And the same can be said for his overlooked actions as an adult.
I like to think I was a nice guy. I guess I was pretty popular. I was oblivious to the cliques, you know, so I think that's a good thing. High school was good to me. I had a really good time. It was a good experience.
When his career was still breaking out, Walker dated age-appropriate stars like Christina Milian, but the couple preferred to keep their personal life private, so not much is known about their romance. However, at the time, Milian had a track record for dating bad boys, and it seems like Walker was no exception. And before Jessica Alba got married, the actress was also reportedly in a relationship with Walker. The actor may have been in many more consensual relationships, but does that mean the world should turn a blind eye to the relationships he did have that weren't so acceptable? It is understandable that with the actor's death, these types of conversations become very hard to have. But perhaps we still need them to make an example for more celebrities in Hollywood who might see it as a get-out-of-jail-free card that allows stars to get away with unacceptable behavior. Hollywood has a history of letting questionable behavior slide when its actors are behind it. Whether it's colleagues who don't speak against it or productions that don't address it either, many foul actions are left unacknowledged. There may have been many different parts to Paul Walker, and yes, it is true that we are all flawed as human beings. But does that mean bad behavior should be overlooked? What do you think, Juicers? Give us your opinion in the comments section below. And thank you for choosing Rumour Juice.